Good evening, men. Welcome to the next section of the men's cross-training practices. Flannery O'Connor is quoted as saying, "To know oneself is, above all, to know what one lacks. It is to measure oneself against truth and not the other way around. The first product of self-knowledge is humility." In the Old Testament book of Judges, chapters 6 and 7, we read about the story of Gideon, who was one of many judges that governed the 12 tribes of Israel. Gideon assembled a large army to fight against the invading Midianites. He gathered 32,000 men from the 12 tribes. But God wanted Gideon to reduce his army, so when the victory came, they would know it was God who won the battle and not Gideon's army. First, God told Gideon to ask his men, "If anyone is afraid or fearful, let him leave." When Gideon put them to this test, 22,000 soldiers left, leaving 10,000 men. The Lord said to Gideon, "There are still too many soldiers. Lead them down to the water, and I will test them for you there." When Gideon led the soldiers down to the water, the Lord said to him, "Everyone who laps up the water as a dog does with his tongue, you shall set aside by himself. And everyone who kneels down to drink, raising his hand to his mouth, you shall set aside by himself." Those who lapped up the water with their tongues numbered 300, but all the rest of the soldiers knelt down to drink the water. The Lord said to Gideon, "By means of the 300 who lapped up the water, I will save you and deliver Midian into your power. So let all the other soldiers go home." CTM wants to point out two important biblical lessons from this story. First, we as individual men and men as a whole need a constant weeding out of our fear as we fight our own battles for our families and communities. Second, when you fight battles for your family and communities, don't do it by yourself. Like Gideon, God is calling us to fight major battles in our lives. And like Gideon, we are called to put together our own personal army as we do so. The community of transcendent men, and specifically these men's cross-trainings, are designed to gather your own personal army to bond with other men who will help you to lead your family through the earthly spiritual battles into the joys of heaven. In addition, this process will help you help other men to fight the moral battles that exist in their families and communities. It's a win-win for all CTM men. The community of transcendent men call this the who, not how. Oftentimes, when men must deal with a particular situation in life, their thinking is, how am I going to deal with this? However, these men's cross-training practices are designed to help men ask a different question in these situations. Not how am I going to deal with this, but who is going to help me deal with this? Please remember, we live in a radically isolated world in which we are separated from other men who can help us with our moral battles. These men's cross-training practices are designed to eliminate any isolation you may feel in your life and the life of your family. We do not have to fight any of these battles by ourselves. God has given us this beautiful community known as the Catholic Church, including this community of transcendent men, and all the angels and saints in heaven, and the fortification that comes from the sacramental life of the Church. As a member of the CTM, you are not alone.